Hi, welcome to the live adventures of Mr. Fish with me, Mr. Fish. I'm an IPP serving prisoner. I was serving a sentence of 99 years, and IPP stands for Indeterminate Public Protection. I used to be the keeper of the dead man's Bible, where all the rules of society were thrown, tossed, and washed away. In me you will see you, and in you you will see me. Okay, I'm the man standing on a pavement, riding on a bus, sitting on a train, looking at all you people thinking, I wonder what it's like to be you. To wake, to work, to eat, to sleep, to dream, to die. My story's so hot, you're going to have to sit in a pool to read it. Easy on the mic and mind how you go. Easy on the mic and enjoy the show. Bang. Live. Okay. You like the policewoman's hat? Okay. Make sure I stay on the right side of the law. Okay, here we go. Enjoy this show. I didn't really want to do this. I'm going to be honest, I didn't want to do it. I like the quiet life, the easy life. But you know what happened? I've been watching Scarcity City and I've been watching the news. And Scarcity City, he keeps on showing us all these stabbing and killings and nothing's happening on the mainstream media. And I thought, you know what, I can't do it anymore. I can't stay quiet. We need to. So I thought the first one I'm going to do is Crash House Your Father. First, remember, we're going to talk about knife crime. Yeah, knife crime. Stab, 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 stab. Knife crime. So the thing is, you have to ask a question. Why is it you want to carry one of these? What is it about this that you feel? To me, now remember, I don't do blame. First thing we need to understand is blame. I don't listen. We need to understand how we got to this situation, but I'm not blaming because you know what, blame has come and gone. Okay? First thing for me, when I see someone who's carrying a knife, and don't get me wrong, I've been stabbed twice and I used to carry one, so let's get it right. I'm in it. First thing for me, what I see, you're telling me that the streets are not safe. That's the first thing everyone's telling me. They're telling me the streets are not safe. That's the first one. The second thing you're telling me is, well, I think everyone else is carrying one, I've got to carry one. Okay? So, what you're telling me is, I would rather tell a judge why I killed a man than a policeman tell a judge what happened at my murder scene. There you go. So, then, what you have to understand about knife crime is, if mum and dad can't protect you, and if the schools can't protect you, and if the police can't protect you, then the question is, who is going to protect you? And it boils down to a simple answer. I'm going to protect myself. And so that's where we have another problem. Crash. Because now, you got good kids who've been drawn into this situation, not just kids, and adults and women. Listen, everyone's stabbing. Let's just stop putting it down to our kids. One of the biggest crimes in this country is women stabbing their husbands. One of the biggest crimes. But it's slid under the table. So we need to understand the power of this. So when you're talking about knife crime, to me, they've got kids getting involved in knife crime that don't want to be involved in knife crime but are forced down there because they have to protect themselves. But the problem with a good kid, when he's involved, when he carries a knife and he uses it, he gets tainted with the same brushes as the bad kid. So the question is, how did we get here? And I said to you, I'm not going to lay the blame, I'm just going to tell you as it is. Right. First thing we need to remember is, we've always had knife crime. Okay? For fuck's sake, the Romans, Crash House Your Father, fucking had swords. We've always had knife crime. In my generation, we had knife crime. The difference was, okay, in my day, when I wanted to go and stab someone, or someone would come and stab me, even though there were stabbings, there weren't as many as today, because my mate would say, careful fish, there's old Bill, police. There's old police over there, there's police over there, mate. Do you understand? So we had that little bit of a deterrent. You know, and the police weren't like today. The police were on it. They had backbone. They weren't like now. You get stopped now, and the police are like shook. It's like, hello. They don't even engage. But I'll explain why all this came about. So, Crash House Your Father. Here we go. Margaret Thatcher came in, smashed up the working class, smashed up the miners, everything. So, what happened was, everyone, she beat us down. Then Blair came along, and then Blair, Mrs. Thatcher took away the 6-day week, made it to 7. Blair came along, and then he said, I'm going to make Britain one class, and it definitely wasn't the working class. So, this is how it went. So anyway, one moment we were working from Monday to Saturday, next minute we introduced to Sunday. So when we introduced to Sunday, what happened was parents had to go out and work longer hours. So because we had to go and work longer hours, what happened was the parents could no longer look after their kids the way they used to, and so the TV and the social media became the childminder, and so their money became money, materialistic goods. Crash House Your Father became construed as love, because when kids were going to the parents hoping to get quality time, wishing to get quality time, the parents couldn't give them the quality time because they had to work and try and feed them and give them the clothes they want and the extra goods. So therefore what was happening was Crash House Your Father. The parent would say, look, I can't have time for you now, here's a £5. And that was why when your car did come up to you one day and say, Mum, Dad, can I have £2 or £5? And Mum and Dad turned around and said, oh, I haven't got it today, the kid would automatically respond, you don't love me no more. So that's how that part started. Then what happened, Blair said he's going to make Britain one class. Well, it wasn't a working class, so he had to destroy the working class to get them to be middle class. And the way he done it, he flooded the whole country with fake clothing labels, Ralph Lauren's, Versace and all the rest of it, okay? People went out and brought them, and I'm only saying Ralph Lauren and that just because it was one of the biggest ones out there, and it's one I remember. And people going out, they were buying Ralph Lauren shirts, fake ones of course, and then what happened was people would say, oh, that's a nice Ralph Lauren, is it real? And you say, oh, no, and then you get the because it weren't real, you know what I mean, wearing fake knit, and you go out and buy the real one, and then your mate says, is it real? And you go, yeah. Well, Blair's philosophy at that time was kind of like, well, if you can afford a £70 shirt, you're now middle class, yeah, Crash House Your Father. So that is how we got in. So then, along with the middle class, became the slogan, look after number one. Well, what the problem is with that slogan is millionaires, billionaires and trillionaires, they can look after number one, but we, the working class or the new middle class or whatever you want to call that, we have to look after each other, because that is how we policed our children. And so therefore we didn't, in the old days, we didn't just rely on the police to police our children, we also police our children. So now if my mum and dad went out to go to work, to feed me and get what I wanted and needed, my neighbour will keep an eye on us, okay? Or my friend will keep an eye on us. But there was always someone watching them. And so the headache is, you have to realise, when they put up the signs, no football games, when they shut the parks, when they shut all the youth clubs, okay, you have to realise they gave kids nothing else to go, okay? So then what happened was, they decided to take our kids off you, okay? Crash House Your Father, and you lot might believe this kid, but they managed to take, and what they done, they told us that we couldn't discipline you. Now, I don't know where you live or where you come from, and I told you I'm not laying blame, but which government who cares about their society and community wouldn't allow you to discipline your kid when your kid's out of order? I mean, why would you do that? So I'm not laying blame, I'm just asking you a question, like, why would you do that? And then secondly, what happened, because parents were going out working longer hours, what happened was the TV and the social media became the child meat. And the phones. So what happened was, every time the parents were trying to tell the children, look, you're doing wrong by wrong, the children were saying, no, Mum and Dad, you're getting on because everybody else is doing it. And so that was the next problem. So the problem for parents today is, my mum and dad just had to confront ITV, BBC One, BBC Two. Now today as a parent, you're confronting 200 music channels, rap channels, pop channels, hip hop channels, it doesn't matter. You're contending PlayStations, Xbox Ones, you're contending with social media, Snapchat, Backchat, Hatchat, wherever it is, Crash, and Office. No. Don't you understand what I'm trying to tell you? You've got to understand what got us into this mess, okay? Now, what happened after all that was, so everything got taken away. So the youth clubs got shut down, and the youth clubs were great things. The youth clubs used to go there, and we had teachers that would guide us, would see us, we'd catch the bad ones. And there are many, many bad people today, delinquents, who owe their lives to youth clubs, who turn their life around to youth clubs. And the government said, we have to shut them down. For what cost? Cutbacks. I'm like, cutbacks? Hold on, stop. No football in around the estate. Why would you put no football there? That is how we used to police our children. Secondly, it's funny when we talk about no football around the estate. They took away the life, the birds and the bees for the old people. And now, you might have peace and quiet, but you're dying alone. You're dying alone. You're not seeing the next generation come up, which is what you used to do in the flats. So you see the kids playing and think, oh, that's nice, I'll look at them. You used to watch them grow. You don't do that no more. Then came the big one, the austerity. And, the cutbacks. And that's the most annoying thing. I hear, oh, Mr. Fish. I go, yeah. What do you think the solution is? You know, and then the moment they start, they go, oh, cutback. Listen, let me tell you something now. When people tell me it shows me how unintelligent you are. We bailed the fucking bankers out for trillions. Whether you like it, crash out your father. We bailed the bankers out for trillions. Don't tell me we can't bail our police out for fucking millions. Don't tell me. Okay? Listen, the solution is quite simple. Okay? You need to put police officers back on our streets. You need to put police stations, open police stations, back where they were. Not selling it off for property. What successive governments are showing us over the time, they don't give a damn about your life no more. They don't give a damn about your property. And also, as I told you, this is what I'm going to show you where policing changed. Over the course of time, Blair and Thatcher, and what also happened was they tried to get the introduction of ID cards, but the introduction of ID kept failing for the public didn't want it. And so they started using terrorism and things like that. They started to build all the points on the road, the checkpoints with the VOSA, the HSS and Job Centre, whatever. They had them all there, didn't they? They were getting your cards, getting your name, and boom, boom, boom. Okay? So all these things added to where we're coming to today. Okay? And where we've got to today. And now, knife crime has evolved. And it's evolved bigger and stronger. But the reason it's evolved is because you have taken away everything for the children to do. And you can't blame them. You also told us we couldn't discipline our kids. You told us we couldn't. We didn't tell you. And so now what's happened is in these last 10, 20 years, and I've been away for 10 years, but since I've come out, what I've noticed is parents are now having to call the police for their kids. We're now the first generation of having to call the police for our kids because the government told us that we are not allowed to discipline our children. I told you I don't want to lay the blame, but you just got to look at the facts. Why would you do that? And then in the middle of an epidemic, pandemic, randemic, whatever you want to do it, epidemic, yeah, then crash, you want to shut down all the police stations and take police officers off the street. Well, no disrespect to you, yeah, But police stations were safe havens. They were safe havens. So if someone was chasing them down the road, somebody down the road with a knife, yeah, okay, you could run into a police station, yeah, alright, and you could seek help and hopefully stop yourself from being stabbed. Okay? So that's what they do. And they always put it down to cutbacks, but my argument is we all face cutbacks. But we didn't take the locks off the windows and the locks off the doors as the first things to keep us safe, did we? We didn't take the security away. Do you understand? That's my argument. Alright? You could take away traffic wardens. You could take away many other things. Okay? But once again, and I told you I don't want to, once again, it's always money before lives. And that is what we're learning here. And that is what all the parents out there, you need to start understanding that, and the kids need to start having that. You need to start understanding why you are picking up one of these. You need to start understanding why you are going to be forced into using one of these. Okay? And it's not all about, it upsets me, it's not all about, oh yeah, single parent families. There are loads of single parent families that do just fine. Absolutely fine. There are loads of prisons filled up with kids who come from double parent families, like myself. So stop blaming single parent. Let's look at it right. Crash, let's keep it real. Okay? Knife crime. It's there, it's on. The question is, why do you feel the need? Are you using it to kill someone? Are you using it just to stab someone? Are you using it to frighten someone? Now let's look at the implications of it. Okay? I rob a bank and I get 99 years. I ain't complaining. What's the fucking move? You kill a kid and you get 8 years. Once again, you're putting money before lives. Why? Because obviously your life don't matter to them. That's the only way I can see it. I don't, as I said when I lay back, but unless you can tell me another way, someone else can come in here, maybe tell me something else, then I listen. I'm here to listen to everything and any aspect that can help us get this result. But at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself why would a government in the middle of pandemic and endemic, whatever you want to call it, knife epidemic, shut down police stations and take police officers off the street? Why would you do that? That's ridiculous. Okay? Now, you're trying to blame bad parenting. But hold on. As I said earlier, you told us we couldn't discipline our kids. So anyway, we got the knife, we used the knife, Crash How's Your Farmer, we live by the knife, we die by the knife, and the knife is the knife. But, what happens after we've used the knife? Because that's another thing, and I think not disciplining not disciplining children. I think what we have done here, children now, they go to school, they miss about, they get sent to attendance centre or whatever. Children never feel pain. And listen, I'm not here to advocate pain. I was hurt, but I'm talking about decent discipline. There's nothing wrong with a couple of lashes or something that can feel pain. But I think because we don't discipline them at any stage, what happens is, I don't think they all really go out there and realise the implications of what they're doing when they kill you. I think it's a shock to them when they get arrested. And I think it's a shock to them when they finally realise they can't go home. I think it's a shock to them. I think, well, alright, I do apologise, I stabbed him, okay, he died, I never meant him to die, yeah, but it did. Can I go home now? I leave my place. It doesn't work like that. Yeah? And this is why discipline your kid was a good thing, because he at least realised the rights and wrong. Not discipline them, he doesn't. Until it's too late. Okay, and now you've killed someone. Okay, whether you like it or not, whether you meant it or not, you've killed someone. Crash out your father, it's happened. It's done. It's written. So now, here we go, enjoy the show. Easy on the mic and mine, how you go. Let's show you what happens after. So you go on the wing and you get into Nick. Now you got the other problem. You get into Nick. Now hopefully you know people on there in the Nick, so you're happy, you're sweet, crash out your father, you're safe. But then again it could be the other way, you don't know, and there's another crew or another gang or other people that just don't like you, or there's just not even a gang, there's just someone's brother in there, and I've seen it happen and I've had to do it. Yeah, brother got stabbed and killed. This guy stabbed someone's brother in Fulham, and what happened was he came to prison, and the guy who got stabbed and killed, his brother was in there in Wandsworth, and they started attacking. This guy, and they were attacking in front of the prison officers, and the prison officers didn't do nothing about it. And so what happened was, I've now had to jump in and this guy's on the floor, they hand me with pool balls and snooker balls and so I've had to now jump in and jump on this guy on the floor, okay, and protect him. And as soon as they see him on the floor, they stopped, and I was like, gentlemen, stop. You want to kill this guy in front of prison officers and add another 25 years to the sentence you're doing? Are you mad? So understand, when you use one of these, it doesn't just always just end on the street. Some of you might be lucky and it does, but sometimes it carries on inside. Okay? As I said, when you use one of these and it goes wrong, we're not even talking about the dead ones. How many people must now be paralyzed because of this? Because of this. How many people? I mean, what, you know, do you really understand where this is taking you when you hold it? When you put it in your side? When you've got in the tram, when you hide it in the bushes? Do you really understand? Do you know what I mean? And do you really care? Maybe you don't. Fuck all that bollocks, let's just do it. What drives you? Do you know what I mean? Is it just being in the gang? Is it being just friends? I mean, not everyone's in a gang that carries a knife, are they? Let's keep it real. They ain't, are they? I wasn't in no gang. I mean, I was in a gang, but I didn't carry a knife because I was in a gang. You know what I mean? It was just at that time people carrying on. Yeah, be careful. So, not everyone is in a knife. As I told you, women stab their husbands with knives. It's one of the biggest crimes in the country. Everyone can stab. Knife is not just about, the kid, the gang. If that's what you think, it's a lie. Okay? Scotland had a massive knife crime because of us. And a guy introduced a violence reduction scheme over there. And sorry, I apologise to you. Tissue. And what happened was, he gave the kids something to do. And now knife crime has dropped in Scotland because they've got something to do. And that's the problem. If you a kid or you're a youngster coming up in a world which, you know, sees nice things, sees nice things with the rap stars are singing, sees nice clothes, nice jewelry, nice cars, you know, doesn't see an inspiration, can't even get a flat in London where he lives, can't even get a job. Listen, these things add up to, well, what you call crime, we call survival. That's it. Nick, crash, Nick. It's no difference. That's where we're boiling down to. We're not giving our kids the hope. We're not giving our kids the inspiration. Okay? And us adults, we are all to blame. Whether you're a politician, whether you're a policeman, whether you're a nurse, a mum and dad, a mum at home, we are all to blame. As I said, I don't want to name blame, but it's, the way I see it is we're all in this together. I won't call it blame, we're all in it together. Now, so you get on the wing. Now you have to decide if you can deal with the bird. So are you now going to commit to self-harm? Yeah, that's what they do. They hurt themselves, cut themselves. That is why I'm using this knife. This is a provocative show. Because I don't believe you lot are really seeing the picture properly. I'm seeing all these shows, I'm going into... Listen, you need to see the reality. This is the reality. You need to know that they self-harm. You need to know. You need to know that they go into prison and they hang themselves. You need to know over this. You need to know that sometimes using this is just because you're out your nut on the gear, or you're out your nut on the beer, or you're out your nut just because you're off your nut. You know, Nick Crash, how's your father on it? This is what is going to lead you to death or to prison. Do you understand? Simply because you was out your nut. Or is it because you're disappointed with something? Someone's disappointed you. Someone said something to you. Someone's fucking took your gear. Someone's tried to rob you. Does that mean you have to take a life? Tell me. I'm interested. I need to... Listen, I'm not throwing this at you lot, giving anybody your solutions. I'm throwing this at you lot, everybody. Men, women, mums, dads. I'm throwing at everyone, kids, teenagers. I'm throwing at each and single one of you. So you come back to me and tell me in your own words, Mr. Fish, we think the solution's because of this, because of that, because of this, because it's so many things. Do you know what I mean? Grand Theft Auto, I wish that, and I love it, mate. I've got it. I don't play it. I have PlayStation 1, I play PlayStation. Not everyone is affected by the Grand Theft Auto, but there have been some who see it, they watch it, and they becomes a part of them. Happened to two of my kids. They both got IDP, and then they got them sentences lifted. They were lucky, but it's down to Grand Theft Auto. And this is what I'm trying to say to you. We can't just keep hurling and throwing blames at the kids and this at the kids. We have to start understanding what has got us here. Why are kids now... I don't think they're less empathetic. I think kids now, they're forced into this, you know, protect ourselves or die. I think they're forced, and I think when you're forced into it, the love and the empathy, I got it right. Crash, how's your father on it? Empathy, yeah. I think that's what forces it out the window. You know, there's when you're just fixated on rap and money and the problem is, people say to me, "Oh, about rap, it's not really a major issue," but see, for me, NWA was a different kind of rap. They had their own fight. They was on a cause. They was niggas with an attitude. You know what I'm saying? They was on it. Yeah. But these rappers you're seeing today, and this is why I'm saying it's also attributes to the knife crime, is because you're all slagging each other, cursing each other, coating each other. Half of you ain't even fucking done nothing. Crash. How's your father? Nitto. God. You ain't even in the game. You know what I mean? And you've got mad names, oh, they call me Sniper this and that. But mate, hold on, you can't even fucking hold your hands up. Come on. And that's why I used to hate when I had my own club, Laserdrome in Peckham. And we used to have the jungle, and I used to hate some of these MCs because they would cause so much violence and trouble in the club. You know, in the end, we had to carry a piece all the time because the geezer came back to shoot us. So I understand what you're saying. Do you know what I mean? And I remember the police coming to me and taking a call and not telling me I couldn't have to do my security license because I'm prepared to win the fight by any means possible. But I was like, hold on, stop. So it's all right for you to drive around with a blue light, floor and front jackets and bits of metal in the back and save your life, but you don't want us to save our lives. And that's kind of really what's going on here with this knife crime thing. You know, it's all right with you carrying fucking MP5s and guns and the hip and that, man, protect yours. Who protects us? You know, so, you know, we can understand that it's not easy. You know, we don't always want to have to carry and be involved in what we're involved in, but sometimes we're left no choice. You know what I'm saying? You know, As I said, I respected the good guys, took on the bad guys, stuck with the wise guys, stayed away from the fool guys. You understand? But sometimes, you gotta do what you gotta do. That's what I'm trying to tell you. This doesn't just take a life. This also injures, paralyzes, disables. Yeah. And it's all great. You might get away with it once, twice. You go to prison, you come out, you think you know life. But that's the problem. Problem is, you get someone come along who's like us, and they're not going to let it rest until one of your brothers or one of your sisters or your mum or your kid is hurt. That's just the way it is. And so you've got to be real careful when you're doing this shit, because soon there's going to come a time when you're not just hurting yourself, you're hurting your family, you're hurting their family's hurting your family, the whole community's hurting, because now the community are seeing all this happening in the community and they don't know what to do. This is what this is all about. So I'll tell you the biggest step we need to do now, the biggest thing we need to create. As I said earlier in my show with Bobby Kasanga on Big Ego Productions, and my first interview with him, as I said to him, Crash, how's your father? You know, the way you have to start this for people is to get a voice. And I'm sick and tired of seeing parents, their sons die, kids die, women die, and they get 300 people and they march to Parliament. You can't even get near the square. There's like 300, 500, they can't even, they're in the bar at that time. Okay, that's, yeah. And then we got the black group in Willesden, which is going around, the vigilante group, and they're saying, well, look, Crash, how's your father? The police can't protect us, so we're going to protect ourselves. And respect for that, I'm not here to just that. Then you got the white mums, the white mums in Ruislip, driving about. If the kids get out and try picking them up, taking them home, calling the police, I respect that. But let me explain something to you. All that is not what this is all about. That is not, let me explain. And there's another thing that's fucked too. Let's do this for black kids. Let's do this for white kids. Forget that. Got to come together, not separate, to deal with this issue. This issue is not about colour. Yeah, the white boys in Scotland are white. They're not black. They're still stabbing the life out of each other. It's not about colour. Whether it's here, it's not about colour. This is about coming together. Okay, Crash, how's your father? Listen, coming together. This is about creating a national and strong voice. That's what this is about. That's what ending this is all about. Coming together and creating a national voice which the government has to listen to. Because too many of us are trying to do it on our own, trying to create different groups, all getting funding, all for community grants, and we're not getting nowhere. So, as I said to you before, and I don't want to do it. I just hope that someone will listen to me, come on board, bring me, let's get that together. And all right, if we've got to do it, then all right, I will. And then let's get it all together. But I need help because I don't know. I don't have the slightest clue how to do it. So I do need help. I'm not going to lie to you. I ain't no professor. I'm not in the game. I'm just me trying to put it right. And the way I see it is this. It is now time for every parent, every single parent in the country, up and down the country, north, south, east, west, everywhere. Every parent must now petition their nursery, their schools, their schools, secondary schools, primary schools, colleges, universities. Every parent must petition the government. And every school, university, nursery, college must present your petitions, your petitions to the government. Okay, they must present your petition to the government, asking the government, why are you putting myself, my children, and my property at risk by closing down police stations and taking police officers off the street? And let's remember something right now. while we're on the subject of police. You also have to remember, police have been stripped and stripped down. But the police, as much as they've been stripped, they also, okay, remember I did tell you I'm going to come back to this. See, policing has changed as well. In my day, police knew you knew them, and we had a rapport, regardless of what the rapport was, good or bad, but we still knew each other. We used to get a hiding, we used to get a kicking, no big deal. That's life, you're in the game, that we accepted that, weren't no big deal. But then with the Blair and the Thatcher came along and beat the miners, then you noticed when the Blair came along and said going to turn it middle class, then you noticed when we had all the votes, the checkpoints, the DHS and all the rest of it, they started to wear the bomber jackets, and they started to wear the jeans and the boots, and they rolled around in the SPG vans, and they turned into a gang. And that's why I always I always laugh when you hear talk about, you mustn't be in a gang, you mustn't be in a gang. And yet, if you look at the police now, especially now, they're all walking in gangs. And that is why when I see a copper walking on his own, I go, yes, gangster, gee, because he's not scared. And I see a black man the other day, and I'm after Shepherd Bush, and I had to tell gangster, on his own, bowling, yeah. Hated by the blacks, the whites, the fucking police, and he's still trying. That's a fucking hard job. So policing, they changed. And so what happened with the changes, policing, what they also done, when they started wearing the bomber, they didn't want to talk to the community no more. And they started to say, everyone in the community hates us. But they're wrong, we don't all hate you. And I had this with a policeman not long ago in Chelsea, and he's riding the bike, and I was talking about the death of the policeman in the sticks, and he said, yeah, but everyone hates us now. And I said, no, but I don't hate you. He goes, yeah, but everyone. I said, no. And but it made me realise, if he is saying to me that all the public hate him, then he obviously hates us. So we've got this bridge created, which isn't even a bridge. Or we've got a problem created, which isn't even a problem, because it's a problem just mentally. Do you understand? And that's what we need to understand. So police have changed now. Police have now become... Police don't